So I'm generally a pretty positive guy. But my negative self-talk is absolutely terrible. You see, I've played baseball my entire life. And objectively, I was okay. Like, I was probably better than most kids my age, but I convinced myself that I was absolutely terrible. I don't know why I decided to eat chips for this scene. How stupid of a video choice is that? And I don't exactly know when this all started, but when I was about 14, my baseball coach used to call me Negative Nagami. He said that he could tell that I'd already mentally struck myself out before I even stepped up to the plate. Isn't that fun? I think so. But this mindset goes beyond just baseball. My relationships, my confidence, my work. Everything is affected by this. And call me crazy, but I kind of want it to stop. So for the next week, I am going to be recording my negative self-talk to see just how often I'm sabotaging myself. The goal is to bring some awareness to this problem and hopefully see if I can break the cycle. Is it gonna work? I have no clue, but let's find out. Good morning, it's day one. So I'll be honest with you, I kind of thought that I was going to have to wait a little while for these negative thoughts and negative self-talk to start rolling in. But it started instantly as soon as I woke up. So that's been fun. So the plan is to record all of my negative self-talk into my voice notes. And then at the end of the day, take those transcriptions and read through them and try and actually find trends in things that I'm saying, maybe times of day, maybe places that I said them at. And hopefully by the end of this video, I can spot some trends and I can use those to prevent or stop or at least reduce some of this negative self-talk, because honestly, it's a lot at this point. It's already been 4 or 5 pretty terrible things I've said to myself this morning. So yeah, I'll probably share with you guys at some point some of these things, raw, unedited, just like what I said. I'm a bit scared to do that right now, to be honest with you. It's super vulnerable, so later in the video, I promise. All right, let's get the day started.
Usually when I'm surrounded by a bunch of sweaty jack dudes having a wet dream, but when I'm at the gym, can't enjoy it because I'm constantly bombarded with negative thoughts. I'm like the skinniest guy in here by a lot.
All right, we're at the end, or nearing the end of day 1 here. And part of the challenge is obviously recording my negative self-talk, but the other part of it is actually listening back to it. I got this idea from David Goggins in his book. That guy is absolutely insane. And so I thought, why not do what he does? So I'm going to listen back to everything I recorded from today. There's a lot of recordings. I have, from just today, 13. That's like 1.5 an hour or something. I haven't even been up for 13 hours. So let's listen to these. Hopefully they're not super cringe or embarrassing or whatever. I'll report back. Okay. I can't believe I can say that. That's so many thoughts. I can't even believe that was all today. Second off, that guy sucks. If I would never If a guy was hanging out with me and he was saying this shit to me, we would not be friends. This guy is awful. Some of that was just mean. Some of that was just straight up mean. Like, I think that stuff all day, I guess, but hearing it out loud totally changes how it feels. Makes it feel more real. But at the same time, I also, like, kind of just laugh at this stuff. Like, it's so over dramatic. Like, this can't be entirely true. I feel like all this is just a bit dramatized. I don't know how the rest of this week's gonna go. Hopefully it's not any worse than hearing all of that. That definitely doesn't make me feel good hearing all those negative thoughts out loud, but it is eye-opening, and it's made me realize that I am definitely too hard on myself or too quick to pass judgment. I would never talk to anyone else the way I talk to myself. That's insane. Now, I know my negative self-talk sounds pretty bad in my own head, but I'm curious if it's as obvious to others as it feels to me. So I decided to call up a longtime friend, my old roommate, and my ex-teammate, Eric. Eric Thrower.
What do you want?
So I wanted to call you to see if, like, externally, it appears that I have very negative self-talk as well. Or if it's just all in my head. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like you can sense it from me?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? What do you mean? From a baseball standpoint, it's like super aggravating. It was a lot of body language too.
What, it was like physically manifested?
Literally physically, like, you would talk and you go, yep. I'm like, oh fuck, like here we go. Like before you even got out there.
That was kind of another reason too I was gonna call you, is because you coach kids. So I figured if, like, I rolled through your roster, you'd probably have a heyday.
No, you'd be cut, yeah. Because it affects everyone else.
Yeah.
I'd cut your ass. Like, I think the biggest frustrating with you thing is, you specifically, is you do so much, like, things that would scare most people, and you have, like, no problem doing it. And
right.
Little things that people do constantly throughout their lives, you struggle with. It's so backwards. It's so frustrating.
At the end of a week, I mean, a week's nothing, but ideally I would like to maybe implement things. Like, what should I do?
Like, talking positive about yourself or a situation positively translates to outcomes. Visualizing yourself and being successful in certain situations is huge. It's huge, man. It's like manifesting, but for non-idiots. Because your problem is you go to a lot of, like, situations and you just take yourself out of them already.
Yeah.
Something negative is going to happen. Let's start there. No. Like, something positive is going to happen, and we're going to work towards that. Going into shit that you are even if you're not confident, fake it.
Hey. Oh my gosh, is that you? I didn't even see you there with my perfectly placed microphone and tripod. Look, it's day 3. It's the morning. And after my discussion with Eric yesterday and these last 2 days, I realized I either need to be lobotomized, or I really just need to find a new approach to my negative self-talk, because if I continue on this path, honestly, it's just not going to be good. Yesterday was actually the first time, thanks to Eric, that I realized that my negative self-talk actually affects other people, not just me. And that is giving me the motivation to actually fix it, because weirdly enough, that makes it worse. Oh, my neighbor's coming out. That's going to be so awkward. All right, false alarm. Anyways, we're going to implement some of the things that Eric suggested yesterday and a couple other things as well. One being, you can't see this, so hold on. Let me just... One being Mr. Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within. I haven't read this, but apparently there's 2 chapters in here. One about belief systems and then one about vocabulary and how those both can really affect the way you perceive yourself. So I think that might help out a bit, and we'll see how that goes. But in other news, it's Monday morning, which means I got a full day ahead of me. A full week ahead of me, actually, so let's get going. Okay, so I'm reading this book, right? The one that said this morning that I'd be reading. And I'm reading this chapter about vocabulary and how the words we use shape our beliefs. And this is the first time I've ever really realized this, that one, the words that we use, we have an emotional attachment to. And so as a result, those are just going to shape how we feel. But then 2, because we limit our vocabulary to the same words time and time again, we also limit our experiences in the world. And so I took all the transcripts from these past 3 days, all the negative things I've said, and I punched them into ChatGPT, and I asked it to use the negative words that Tony Robbins commonly sees, to point out some ones that I'm commonly using. And it's kind of crazy. I use the same, 8, 9 words time and time again. So I used loser. These are all describing myself. I used loser 3 times. I've used pathetic 3 times. I've used fucking idiot twice. I've used terrible 5 times. I've used awful, disgusting, or gross 5 times. I've used embarrassing twice. I've used sad twice. I've used stuck 3 times. I've used afraid or scared 4 times. That's insane. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then I wonder why I have such a low opinion of myself, why I have such low self-esteem, why I don't like myself a lot of the time. And it's no shit. The words I'm using to describe myself, I'm giving myself no other option than to feel that way, Good morning, YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning. So I've been thinking, and I don't think it's responsible for my well-being to just continue recording just my negative self-talk. It's still going to come. I'm still going to record it. But I do think I should implement some path forward. And I think that path forward for today is going to be a very small goal. So what I'm planning to do, or I'm hoping to do, is in at least 3 instances today, catch myself doing the negative self-talk and trying to find a way to make the words in that negative self-talk more neutral or more positive, and hopefully try and find a positive spin on that situation. So for instance, a word I say a lot is I hate, and Tony Robbins recommends that we transform that to I prefer. So that might be something like, I prefer having a small peanut. All right. So I'm in a bit of a rush right now because I'm a bit late to picking up my employee for the day. And honestly, I wasn't doing much. I was just kind of sitting around, enjoying a coffee. I was playing a bit of guitar. I was editing a video. And normally I would say something like, I hate that you're so bad at managing your time. Why do you waste so much time? You should be focusing on getting ready for the day and being timely, blah, blah, blah. Okay, maybe that's a bit true. But what's also true is that I love having hobbies. I love having things that I'm passionate about that I want to spend time doing. If I didn't have those things in my life that wasted time, I would be much less happier. So I think that's a bit of a win today. A little bit of reframing, a little bit of positive thinking. I don't know. I think I'm a changed man. Kind of a changed man. Oh my gosh, I almost got T-boned. Okay. That's enough distracting. Also, side note, but look how beautiful the fall is here in Toronto. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, I was trying to do like a big slurp to cut transition. Oh my gosh. So yesterday was good for the most part. There were a few times I actually did catch myself and was able to positively reframe negative thoughts into good ones. But generally, my negative self-talk has dramatically reduced from the first day of this challenge. I think I maybe had 3, maybe 4 entries compared to my 13 that I had on the first day. So it's been going down. And as I reflect on this challenge, what I've realized is that I don't think that I actually believe any of the things that I say to myself. It's weird, like having to actually say them physically out loud into the world and bring them from just a thought to actually existing has made me realize that all of these bad things that I think about myself, all these negative beliefs that I have, they're actually just these half-baked little seedlings of a thought that when you actually try to articulate them, hardly exist at all. All of my negative self-talk is really just a habit. And this might sound counterintuitive, but I think that the negative self-talk is actually really just a way for me to protect myself from disappointment. If I'm my own harshest critic, if I'm the first one to say something negative, then I'm actually just cushioning myself from the potential future failure that I'm going to get into. And so I think Eric was probably more spot on than I realized back on day 2. That I just go into situations starting with a negative mindset. And honestly, I think that I need to really practice going into things with a positive mindset and trying to reframe these negative things into positive things. Because at the end of the day, I use the word practice because I've just had a million reps of training my brain to be negative all the time. And the only way to train my brain to be positive or more positive is to get some reps in. And so I'm 26 years late to the game at this point. Negative, he's got a big head start on me. But, you know, there's that old Confucius saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. I think this might be a really boring video. That's my negative talk. This is going to be a great video. If you're watching this far, this is a good video. All right, check this out. I want to show you guys something. You quit your job to find a better job and make a bunch of money and be successful. And you tell people you're going to be successful and you convince yourself you're going to be successful. And then you run this ad campaign and you are spending hundreds of dollars and handing out thousands of flyers. And you literally cannot get a single dollar in business. It's pathetic. And honestly, I question if you're going to get any business at all. Good luck becoming rich that way. Okay, now, you bring much more to the table than you think you do in your life in a lot of areas, but business is probably one of them. You're more likely to take risks than others. I think you're also a very motivating person, and you get people excited about ideas. You're also fairly logical and fairly level-headed. And I don't think you make too many decisions purely based on emotions. So you're a good person to bounce ideas off of. You also have a good grasp on marketing to some extent, more so than other people do. And while you may not have the biggest business in the whole world, you have started something from scratch. And that's something to be proud of. Come on, that's That's like 5 days apart. That's kind of remarkable. Listening to that second message, like, kind of has me smiling and happy. Like, to hear it, it's almost like someone else has just said that to me. And it's true. I do believe that. But I thought it was so cool how literally inside the span of a week, you can say such completely different things. And they both seem so real. I don't see why I wouldn't just choose to talk positively all the time, because it leaves me feeling way better. But wanted to share some real recordings with you guys. Those are some of them. This week has been pretty eye-opening. I think it's the first time in my life I've realized truly just how much my negative self-talk is affecting me. And not only me, other people as well, as Eric pointed out. But the good news is that I feel like I've actually made some incredible progress in just a span of a few days. When I first started this challenge on day 1, I had something like 13 pieces of negative self-talk recorded. Yesterday, for comparison, I had zero pieces. In fact, I actually had a single piece of positive self-talk, which for me is absolutely insane. Now look, I don't want to claim that my negative voice is completely gone, but to be honest with you, it's barely even noticeable anymore. I feel like I've kind of mastered the art of... Who the fuck says mastered? You dumb fuck.